NFL football is back, and we're back on the Big Mountain, where we bring you a fresh take on sports betting focused on the Big Ten and the Mountain West.
My name's JY, and this is my good friend Steve. And while our focus is typically on college football, as Steve said, specifically the Big Ten and the Mountain West conferences, we do want to bring you some NFL picks for both the overall win totals and Week 1 games. We're not going to pick every game, but we went through the schedule. I know Steve has some picks. I have some picks, and we definitely want to throw a little bit of Big Ten and Mountain West flair on some of these picks for where we can. So with that, we're going to start with Steve, then we'll get to me. So have at it, Steve.
Awesome. As you know, I'm real excited about this. So let's get right into my first pick.
Yep.
Okay. So first pick, so we have Ohio State's Terry McLaurin's Commanders. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and take them -7 over the Cardinals. Honestly, I think the Commanders, I think they've been on a great track. I think they have their quarterback finally established in Sam Howell. Mm-hmm. They got a great core of receivers with McLaurin, Dotson. They just brought in another receiver from Penn State. They have just a great stable of wide receivers. They got a good two-headed combination at running back. Or more of a power back and a receiver. Mm-hmm. I think their offensive line, based on the draft and based on what I've been seeing, I think that their offensive line has improved this year, and I think their secondary will improve this year.
Agreed.
From last year. And those were my two key concern areas. And honestly, the Cardinals, they're just a bad team.
Yeah.
They're kind of in shambles. We have no idea who's even going to be the Cardinals quarterback.
Yes.
So for me, I'm going to go ahead and take Terry McLaurin's Commanders -7 over the Cardinals.
Well, and if people haven't already guessed, given what I'm wearing here, in all fairness, I am a Commander fan, so I'll try to reserve my fan thoughts and stick specifically to winning bets. But yes, I like that bet. I like to call out for a couple of your Big Ten boys there. So you got another one for us, I think.
Okay, yeah. So moving on. So this one, we're going to go with a little bit of Penn State flavor.
Okay.
So we have Miles Sanders and the Panthers. I'm taking them plus the points, so +3.5 over the Falcons.
Okay.
Miles Sanders, he had a good last 2 or 3 seasons with the Eagles, but not necessarily great with them. They tried to bring in some other backs and give him a more limited role.
Yes.
I really think with the Panthers, he's going to have just a more dominant role, be that power back, be the every down back for them. He can do everything. He can run between the tackles. He can catch passes out of the backfield.
Absolutely. Yep.
He's going to give a good security blanket for Bryce Young, their new rookie quarterback. And the Falcons, I still don't see it with them. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Panthers, Miles Sanders Panthers, +3.5 over the Falcons.
Well, what I always liked about Sanders was when he was with Philly, specifically early on, until, like you said, they brought more running backs in. But, he was very good at just running that out route, and then he was the safety valve for the quarterback. And, we get him the ball, and he can do really, really fantastic things with it. So I like the pick. I'm anxious to see how Miles Sanders does in the Panthers as more of a lead back down there. I think he can be. He frankly probably should be. He's got the athletic ability to do it. And I wish you the best for that pick.
Yeah. All right, so with my third pick, I'm going with another Penn State player, Saquon Barkley. There was a question of whether he was going to continue to hold out or come back and be with the Giants. He was looking for a long-term contract. He didn't get that. Got a small little raise. They reworked the contract. He's going to be back there. I like their offense. I know some people have not been sold on Daniel Jones, but I really thought he came along well last season, and Barkley makes that offense go.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think that I see them with having less problems than the Cowboys right now.
Okay.
The Cowboys with Dak Prescott, he had his worst season last year coming off of a major injury. Mike McCarthy is now taking over the play calling. I didn't like his play calling in Green Bay when he had Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
I'm really not going to like it in Dallas when he has Dak Prescott, in my opinion. So I think Saquon Barkley and the Giants go ahead and pull this one out. I'm going to take them plus the points, +3.5 over the Cowboys.
Okay. I have 2 comments for you on that pick. The first pick is you like apparently where Jones is going and the steps he's taken forward. I'm not a Jones fan at all. I'm on the side of I don't get it. I don't see it. I mean, I don't like the Giants, but I'm just wondering when that shoe's going to drop, quite frankly. To me, this is the season, whether it's, it's going to be the Jones you think it's going to be, or it's not, and we'll see what happens there. I don't wish bad on anybody, even if it's an Eagle or a Giant or a Cowboy. I just don't see that. But anyway, we'll see. The second thing there with the Cowboys, you mentioned the Cowboys play calling changes. I haven't understood their play calling in I don't know how many years. Like every time I watch it, I think, what the heck are they doing?
Yeah.
I mean, they've had some great receiving talent, and is it a Dak Prescott thing? Is it now he's been hurt too? So like I don't know what it is, but I've just been confused by that offense with the talent that they have there. I don't understand what they're doing down in Dallas, but that's just me.
They got rid of Kellen Moore, who I thought was a great up-and-coming offensive mind. I think he went to San Diego.
Okay.
And their fix was to have Mike McCarthy call the plays. Mike McCarthy had one really good season with Aaron Rodgers. I think in 2010 they went to the Super Bowl. And after that, it was just a mess. With honestly one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time.
Right. And very high expectations there with the talent. I mean, you look at the receivers they've had.
Yep.
You look at the running backs that they've had. I mean, they've had the goods.
Yeah.
And they're again another team that you're maybe scratching your head. So maybe it fits in Dallas. I've been scratching my head with their offense, and maybe McCarthy fits right in.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe that dysfunction followed Green Bay, followed him to Dallas. I think Dallas is a mess, but I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
What do you got for us, JY?
All right. Well, I've got. Let's start with over/under wins. So because it's preseason or before the season here, you got a couple more days to get in on wins, whether or not teams are going to hit, and I got 3 of them for you. The first one, I'm going to take Buffalo over 10.5 wins. I think they're a 12-win team this year. Josh Allen's out there. I'm a big Polk fan, Wyoming Cowboy fan. I'm going to pick that game later on as well. So I got to get Josh Allen on both of these that I'm doing. So I'm going Buffalo over the 10.5. I've got Pittsburgh, and I know you're a Pittsburgh guy, but I'm going Pittsburgh over 8.5. I think you saw great strides in that off. I think they overachieved last year. They're only going to get better. I see them being probably a game or 2 above 500 this year. So, that's above the 8.5. So I'm going to go over with Pittsburgh, and I'm going to go over with Washington. They're at a 6.5. I think that's a bit low. I know they're in a difficult division. That division seems to just go up and down. They're great, and then they're awful, and now they're great again. But be that as it may, it's 6.5. I've got them right around the 500 too. Whether it's 8 and 9, 9 and 8, I'm not 100% sure, but definitely above the 6.5 on wins.
I think that number is atrociously low for the Commanders, and I think the reason why is because Sam Howell, he only had 1 start.
Right.
I saw him last year. I saw him play at North Carolina with a great college quarterback. When he got a chance last year, he was really able to push that offense and make them go.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken over the leadership role in
100%.
that locker room and in the huddle in Washington over the offseason. They are ready to go. He's got weapons. He is an aggressive quarterback who will push the ball downfield, which is what you need to do when you have those weapons. And the sky is the limit. I think they will easily break that number.
And actually, for me now, I'm questioning more the defensive side of the ball, which 3 years ago you would have thought you were nuts, with Chase Young coming in and Monty Sweat. And now I'm going, these boys better step up. I'm more worried about the defense limiting points of the opposition than really I am about the offense scoring points this season.
Well, some of those front 7 guys, like you said, they need to step up. Is Chase Young going to play this year? Play week 1? How many games does he play? Yeah. Those guys, they need to step up if they want to continue with that team and get that big contract that they look like a sure thing.
Yep. But
I will say, I really think the Commanders shored up their secondary in
100%.
the draft and in the offseason. So that makes me feel I feel like they'll be at least as good on defense as last year, if not a little bit better.
I hope you're right.
NFL passing league, if you can shore up your secondary, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah. Well, let's get to my week 1 picks. Again, I have 5 that I'm going to do. I don't think we have any that. No, we do have one I think that overlaps, but that's okay. So the first one, we're going to do Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Do a little call out here. We got Godwin there as a wide receiver down at Tampa Bay, former Penn State player, Big Ten player for Tampa Bay. And it is at a -6 for Minnesota. And I'm going to take Minnesota. I see the touchdown being very much doable there for Minnie. So I'm going to take Minnie over Tampa in Minnie at -6. The next pick I have is Arizona at Washington. One that you just picked. I completely agree with you. Don't need to talk about that much more. It's a -7. It's at home for Washington. I think they want to prove that they're not a 4-13 team or bottom dweller this year. I think they come out blazing, and I like that Washington pick at -7 as well. Jacksonville at Indy is another one I'm going to pick, and it's a -4.5 line right now. Jacksonville's been very impressive over the past 2 years. Really enjoy watching them. Lawrence is fantastic. You never know what you're going to get out of these college quarterbacks that are highly touted. You see too many of them fail, quite frankly. I just feel bad for some of these kids, but not the case here. I think Jacksonville's got a great team. I think they go into Indy, especially with what's going on with Taylor and just unknowns up there. -4.5. I'm going Jacksonville.
If I could add a quick point, Trevor Lawrence, totally agree with you, and they're on an upward trajectory. One thing I found interesting about Trevor Lawrence is the guy is a winner.
Absolutely.
If you go back, through his high school career and his college career, he never lost a single game until I think it was his junior year when they lost in the national championship game in the college football playoff. That was his first time experiencing a loss. What is this?
Yeah.
So the guy is a winner. He figures out a way to get it done with his legs or with his arm, and I'm with you on that.
Yep. So 2 more. Philly at New England. And I got to be honest, I was a little surprised by this line when I saw it. And while I don't want to pick Philadelphia, I'm going to pick Philadelphia at -4. Great offense. Everybody's talking about them being a Super Bowl contender, one of the best. So, at -4, I know they're away. I don't have a lot of hope in a New England team yet. I know they're through a rebuild and they're getting better, but at -4, I got Philly on that all day long.
Yeah, I think that one is the Bill Belichick. The bettors, Vegas. Everybody believes in him.
Yes.
Home field advantage is normally a 3 points, and then you get the Belichick advantage, which is like a 5-point advantage. I think that they're building that in, but I agree with you. I think Philly, even though can't stand the team,
I hear you,
but they have the best roster in the NFL. And that line I think is a little small, so
I think it's too small. And as if you've been watching our picks for college football, when we make picks, we take out our emotions and whether we like a team or we don't like a team. We go off of what we think is going to be a winning pick here, and I think that's a winning pick at Philly -4. And I'd be remiss not to say, if this is the first episode that you're seeing here at the Big Mountain, take a look at our college picks. Steve is a Big Ten guru, and he's picking every Big Ten game here throughout the season. I'm the Mountain West guru. I'll be picking most of the Mountain West games. A lot, unfortunately, right now don't have lines. And we'll throw other picks in there as well. When we like other games, we're going to put them out there for people to hopefully win some money on as well.
So hit that subscribe button if you want to see those.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Get some notifications on this. So
Definitely.
Last one I'm going to do is the Bills at Jets. I told you I was going to go back to Josh Allen. I started with Buffalo. I'm going to end with Buffalo. So it's the Bills at the Jets. I think this has Aaron Rodgers' stank written all over it at -2.5. I scratch my head at that. I get that the Jets are going to be a better team, but 2.5, I don't understand that. I am taking the Bills at -2.5 all day, every day, and twice this Sunday on week 1. And, we're not going to do ice cold locks here for the NFL, but if we were, I'm ice cold locking the Bills at -2.5.
So I just have one question for you.
Yes.
Is it possible that Josh Allen is the best Mountain West player to ever play in the NFL?
I think that's highly likely.
Okay.
Highly likely. Yes.
So you're taking Josh Allen and the Bills Mafia.
100%.
Okay.
Bills Mafia. Yes, okay, they're at the Jets. I don't think that matters whatsoever.
No.
So, anyway. All right, well, that is my picks. We're going to do a quick summary slide here for you. We'll go over all the picks just so you can have them written down. Hopefully, we can win some money. We will do a reaction video as well, just talking about what went right, what went wrong. So, Steve, why don't you start, and then I'll chime in.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my Ohio State's Terry McLaurin Commanders -7 over the Cardinals, and Penn State's Miles Sanders Panthers +3.5 over the Falcons. So I'm taking Miles Sanders in the Panthers plus the points over the Falcons. Saquon Barkley from Penn State and the Giants +3.5 over the Cowboys.
Awesome. And I will start with the season wins picks that I did. I've got Buffalo over 10.5, Pittsburgh over 8.5, and Washington over 6.5. Again, if I was to lock one of those, I'd be locking Washington. We talked about that. Then for week 1 picks, I've got Mini -6 over Tampa Bay. I've got Washington and Deshaun Dotson there, -7 over Arizona. I've got Jacksonville at -4.5 over Indy. I've got Philly at -4 over New England. And then the Bills over the Jets at -2.5. Josh Allen going to town.
Want to add one last point on your Commanders?
Yes.
So we talked about that they have a couple of Penn State wide receivers. That second one was Michael Tinsley. He was the transfer last year.
Right, okay.
Played really solid. He was a long shot to make the team, and then he was one of the last guys to make the Commanders team. It was awesome. Penn State fans, we loved seeing that.
Yeah.
A guy that came in and worked hard, and he's one of those guys. He will work hard. He will be that possession receiver for the Commanders. So I'm excited to see 2 Penn State receivers on the Commanders for sure.
Awesome. Great. Well, that'll do it for us here for our first week of NFL picks. Subscribe if you want to hear more picks. Make sure you get those notifications turned on when these episodes drop. And hopefully we can win you some money. Hopefully you like what we have to say. And we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.